Just hold on.
What?
Sir, I'm sending it live once. Let's check it afterward. That. Mm.
Okay.
Dear students, can you please confirm whether our screen is visible to you or not? In the question answer session, you can drop your query that screen is visible or not. Please confirm. Dear attendee, can you please check and confirm whether our screen is visible? Excel sheet is visible to you all? Thank you, student, for confirming. Sir, they are saying that it is visible, but still now I am not able to visible the screen.
Okay,
How
but
can we
for the
start the
student,
class?
all right.
You
For the
can make
students, it's
class
visible,
started.
right?
Yes, sir, they are confirming that is visible.
All right. Good afternoon, dear all. Uh, let's continue with the Excel sessions only. Morning session we had learned about the basic functions which we normally use in a day-to-day life. Also, we also saw SUMIF and COUNTIF functions. Then we also saw how to sort the data and what is multi-level sorting. And then we moved on to filter and advanced filtering as well. Now, in the afternoon session, the first thing which we are going to deal with is something called there is logical functions. There is something called logical functions in Excel. One second. Okay. Now, what is a logical function? Logical function is where you're asking Excel to check if a condition is true or not, and we are asking them to give us an output if it is true and give us a different output if it is a false value. I'll take it through an example so that you will understand it better. We have some students' name here. We have some students' names here, and in the students' names, we have some names. They have all the marks they have got in science, maths, and the total mark is already calculated. Okay, as per the school, minimum mark to pass is 100 marks. So those who have got total of 100 or above should get the result as pass. If they have not scored 100, then it should give the result as fail. This is what we are going to achieve by using a logical function. So is equal to if. The function name is if. Okay. Inside the if, we must give a logical test. It will take three parameters. First parameter is the logical test. Second parameter is the value if true, and third parameter we need to give value if false. So the logical test, when we are giving a logical test, it should give either true or a false, either yes or no answer. So the logical test should be given in such a way that it can have only any of two answers, either yes or no. Okay, now here my logical test I am going to give is if this cell value, this particular cell is having a value greater than or equal to 100. Now this is like a question. I am asking Excel a question. D4 greater than or equal to 100. This question have only two possible answers. One is yes or no. So the question should have, this question should have only two possible answers. I cannot ask what is the value in D4. Okay, what is the value in D4? I cannot ask that because that will not have only two answers. But this particular question have only two possible answers, which is yes or no. Now I'll put a comma. Second parameter, what should happen if the question gives an answer as yes, which means if it is true, what should happen? I should get pass. This particular word is to be populated in this cell, which is why I am giving this in double quotes and I am wrapping it in double quotes, comma, again double quotes, fail. So this is where we give what should happen if this condition is returning a false value. So if the condition, what if true and what if false. Bracket close, enter. Now I'm dragging this, I'm getting the whole answers. This is pass and this is fail. This is fail. Clear? Now if I am changing the value, this was only 10, not 102. Let us assume that this is only 10. Then this will become automatically fail. This was 155, not, this was 155, not 55. Then it is pass. Clear? So automatically the values will also change. I mean the answer will also change according to the values. Just give me a moment. I am just getting an important call. Okay, I'm back. So this is the basic if condition, if function, and this is one of the logical functions which we normally use. Hope this is clear. Three parameters. First parameter is the criteria, logical test. Second parameter is value if true. Third parameter is value if false. Okay. Now another scenario. Let us go to the another scenario. Here there is a slab. There is a grading criteria given. For all those who have got less than 100, it is obviously fail only. But above 100, we cannot just put pass. The grade should be displayed. What is the grade? 101 to 175 it is a B grade, and all those who have scored about 175 marks total, they'll get an A grade. So the result should be populated according to this grading criteria. Clear? So I am going to, let us try this out. Okay, is equal to if, okay, let us try this logical test. This cell greater than or equal to 100. Okay, let us try this way. D4 less than 100. If it is less than 100, what should happen? It should give you the fail as the result. Okay, but if this is greater than 100, I cannot put A, I cannot directly put A grade, or even I cannot directly put B grade also, because there are two different slabs for those who have scored more than 100 marks. So I cannot directly put any value in this case. What should we do here? What is the solution? Again, we need to think this highly logically. Okay, we need to apply high level logic here. The same if condition only, we can achieve this. But only thing, we need to tweak this formula. We need to tweak this function a little bit so that we get our desired result. All right. So is equal to if. I'll start with if only. The first thing I am trying to understand is if this cell is greater than or equal to 175. Sorry, it's not is equal to, it's greater than 175. If this is greater than 175, what should happen? What is the grade? The grade is A, right? The grade is A. So double quotes, I'll put A. This much part we are clear, and this is correct only. The problem comes in the next part. Again, as I told you earlier, I cannot directly put a B grade here, or even I cannot directly tell it is a fail. So what we are going to do is, we are going to check one more condition. When are we going to check this one more condition? Only when this condition is false. If this is true, give an A, come out, that's all. But if this is false, I want you to check one more condition. So how do we put another condition here? I cannot directly put D4 greater than, less than 100. I cannot put it like this. I cannot put it like this because Excel will not understand. Excel will give you an error here. So to check a condition, only one guy can check these conditions. Who is that? It is nothing, no one other than if. The same if I am using. The same if I am using. In this if condition, I am going to check if this value is greater than or equal to 101. Okay, so when are we checking this? Again, I'll repeat. If this condition is false, only then this condition will be checked. Okay, again I'll put a comma. If this is true, if this condition is true, what is the grade? The grade is B. Okay, so we have checked whether this value is greater than 175. Then we checked if the value is greater than 101. If both of these conditions are false, then it will be obviously less than 100. You don't have to check it again. You can directly put fail in the double quotes. Bracket close. Here I must close one more bracket because one bracket is open here, one bracket is open here. Both the brackets has to be closed at the end. And press enter and drag. So this is called nested if. One if condition inside another if condition is called nested if. Right? So I'll take this once again. Let us see this case by case. Okay. In this particular row, in this particular case, what happened? This checked if whether this value is above 175. This is 183. So this is true. So it returned an A and came out. Now none of these functions has been checked. But in this case, what happened? This checked if the value is greater than 175. It is not. It is not. So what happened? It skipped the A part. It did not see this A part. It directly went to check if the condition is, if this particular value is greater than or equal to 101. Is that true? Yes, it is true. So it returned a B grade and came out. Now, let us understand this case. First, this checked if the value is greater than 175. No. So it skipped to this part. Is the value greater than 101? No. So again, this skipped to the false part. So that is where I am getting the fail. So this is called nested if. Just a second, please give me a moment. All right, I'm back. We have some small power issues here. That is why I'm just in between. I have to go go away. All right. So now I hope you understood the need for this nested if and how nested if is being used. So when do we use nested if? When you wanted to check one condition after the other. We are not checking all the conditions at the same time. We are checking one condition after the other. This condition is being checked. This condition is being checked only if this condition is false. Clear? So that is where nested if will be used. And imagine we have in the grading criteria, we have 10 different grades. Then you will have to use 9 if conditions. If we have 7 different grades, we will have to use 6 if. Clear? So that is how nested if is to be used. Now, let us move on to another scenario here. In this scenario, a student, if he needs to be pass, then he'll have to fulfill 2 criteria. One criteria is that maths mark should be 50. He should have scored 50 marks at least in maths, and the total mark should be 100 or more. So minimum total mark is 100 and minimum maths mark is 50. The student will be considered as a pass only if these 2 conditions are met. Let us take this case. This student has scored minimum mark of 100, but he haven't scored 50 marks in maths, which means the student is failed. Here he has scored 50 marks in maths, total mark is above 100, so this is pass. In this case, both the conditions are not met, so obviously fail. This is pass, and here again the same thing. Maths mark he have not scored, total mark he have scored. This is ulta. Maths mark he have scored 50, but total mark he have not scored 100, which means again this is fail. So I must get the result automatically as per this slab. Here we cannot just use if, because in this case we must check 2 conditions at the same time. Okay, nested if is when we need to check one condition after the other, but here I must check both the condition at the same time. Clear? And then only the result should be published. So in that case, I will use if only, but inside if I will use another function which is called and. Because if condition cannot, just if condition cannot check more than one conditions at the same time. If a function cannot check more than one conditions at the same time, it can only check only one condition at a time. And if function can check only one condition at a time. But if you wanted to check multiple conditions at the same time, then we must use another function called and. This is again another logical function, and is also a logical function. Okay. Logical function always work with true or false. Okay, all the logical functions works with true and false. So and function also works with true and false. But and condition have the capability, and function have the capability to check multiple conditions at the same time. So here what I'm going to do is inside the AND, I'm going to put the first condition. What is the first condition? This cell greater than or equal to 50. This is my first logical test. My second logical test is this cell greater than or equal to 100. So I've given two logical tests to be checked at the same time. Now let us understand how does this AND function work. AND function will give you either true or a false answer. Only two things, either true or a false. Now when will AND function give true? Only if all the conditions given in this function, inside this function, is true. Imagine I have given 50 conditions. 49 conditions are true only, but one condition is false inside the AND. Then AND function will tell false only. When will AND function tell true? When will AND function return true? AND function will return true only if all the conditions, whether it is 50 conditions, 25 conditions, whatever it is, if all the conditions are true, only then AND condition will return true. So in this case, if AND condition is returning a true value, what should happen? What should happen? It should be a pass. Otherwise, it should be fail. If the AND condition is returning a false value, it should populate the fail value inside the result box. Is that clear? So why did we use if here? Because AND condition will only return true or false. Okay, if let us remove this if. Okay, let us remove all these things. I am just putting the AND. I am pressing enter. What happened? I am getting false, but I don't want false. I wanted it to be fail. True and false, normal people cannot understand. Okay, I must get fail as the answer, not the false. But and there is no option to give value if true, value if false in AND function. There is nothing, no parameters at all. AND function can only hold the conditions, nothing else. So for us to get a meaningful output, we are wrapping this in the if also, because if function can get, if function can take what should happen value if true and what should happen if the value is false. That is why I am using if also in this. Now I am getting fail as the answer. I'll drag this. Yeah, this guy is failed. Obviously, this guy is anyways failed. This is also failed. This is also failed. Okay, why did this guy fail? Because checked for this condition, this is true, but checked for this condition, this is false. This returned false. So obviously, AND function will tell it is a false. AND function will tell it is false. That is why it is directly going to the fail option and returning the fail as the result. So this is AND function. Okay. So when do we use AND function? When we need to check multiple conditions at the same time, we will use AND function. Same scenario, we can use another function also. So when we need to check multiple conditions at the same time, then either we can use AND function or we can use OR function. There is another function called OR, but the functionality of both these functions are totally opposite, totally different. You cannot substitute OR function with the AND, but If the requirement is different, let us assume now the school have made their rules lenient. Okay, the school have decided to make their rules lenient. Now the school is telling a student will be passed if he gets 50 marks in maths or 100 marks in total marks. So any of the condition, if any of these condition is true, then the student is passed. He will be fail only if both the conditions are not met. Only this guy will fail. All the other guys has to be passed. If that is the requirement, then in that case, I can use if. Inside that I can use OR function. Because OR function also will take multiple conditions at the same time, just like AND only. But okay, what is the condition here? Above greater than or equal to 50, comma, and this cell greater than or equal to 100. Okay, so what will OR function do? OR function will return a true if any of the conditions given inside that is returning a true. In this case, this returned a true, this returned a false, but still this is okay. Sorry, opposite. This returned a false and this returned a true. But since one condition have returned a true, OR function will tell true. I'll put a comma again, pass, fail. Let us see how the result is coming. Only this guy is fail because both the conditions are not met. So when will OR function tell true? Only when none of the conditions are, none of the criteria are met. Only then OR function will return a true. If any of the conditions are true, then OR function will also return true. 50 conditions I have given, 49 is false, but one condition is true. Then OR function will return true only. Clear? So this is normal if where only one condition is being checked at the same time. Okay, only one condition. To be checked. Okay, only one condition to be checked. And this will return a value if the condition is true, and this will return another value if the condition is false. Those true value and false value we can specify in the function. How is the syntax? Is equal to if, open a bracket, give the logical test. Okay, this logical test should have only two answers. Should have any of those two answers. Which are those two answers? Either true or false. Now, if this returns a true, it will get the value from value if true variable. I mean attribute. If this is false, it will go to this portion. Clear? So normal if condition is being used only when one condition is to be checked. Now, second scenario, this is nested if. When will we use nested if? When we need to check multiple conditions, but one after the other. Only when we need to check multiple conditions, one after the other. Only then nested if will be used. How do we use the nested if? We will give a condition. We will tell what should happen if it's a true. Okay, and if it is a false, we are again starting with another if function where we are checking next condition. So when will this condition execute? Only when the first condition is returning false. Only when the first condition is returning false, the next condition will be checked. Okay. So that is how we use nested if. So imagine we have 10 conditions, then we will have to use 9 if functions. That is how nested if will be used. Now, third scenario, what we checked, we understood that when we need to check multiple conditions at the same time. Okay, let me bold this. At the same time. Then we will use either and or function according to our requirement. We'll decide on this function according to our requirement. Clear? Kunal, I'll just pause it here. Can you ask the students to post the questions regarding this topic?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Student, for few minutes we are pausing the session. Just share your question related to this topic so that we can post it and get it answered by the faculty. Thank you. Sir, there is one student is asking, sir, instead of if and end function, can we use is equal to if bracket d4 greater than equal to 100 fail if c4 that can you open the once Q&A session? This is like formula they have questions.
I'll open Q&A session once again.
In new question, it is asked.
Okay. Just getting loaded. One second. Okay. Instead of if and function, can we use if? No, you cannot. You cannot. The problem is, see, in this particular thing, in this particular example, I don't have, I cannot check the condition one after the other. Okay, I cannot check the conditions one after the other because what happens here is it is see in this case you cannot check the total mark first and then check the max mark. You have to check this simultaneously. Clear? You have to check this simultaneously. Only then I'll get the desired result. So that is not possible. Nested if cannot be used in this case. Okay. So okay, there are some other questions also, right? we will watch the classes again on the site. That I think Kunal, you can reply. Is the recordings available for this class?
Dear students, all the recording will be available once after a week from the institute side. Until that, you have to watch from the same link so that you can watch the live as well as record it from the same link.
Okay. Difference between if, nested if and if. See, nested if, we are checking one condition after the other. Okay. Only if the condition is false, only if a particular condition is false, only then the next condition is checked. In if and, what happens is we are checking both the conditions at the same time. Not when one condition is false. Okay. Can you explain project 2 again? I will do that. Syntax should be written in only one row, and how it executes complete table. Syntax complete table. See, only one row we write the function. Okay, only one row we write the function, and then we'll drag it down as we does normally for the formulas. No, we drag it down. How do we drag it? There is a fill handle, right hand side bottom corner. Click that and drag it down. So that is how you get it. You get the function for the whole table. Okay. Now somebody was asking me to repeat project 2, which is where I have talked about the nested if. So nested if is whenever you wanted to check one condition after the other, and only when first condition is false, only when the first condition is false, then only the second condition will be checked. If the first condition is true, then second condition will not be checked. Okay, if the first condition is true, then the second condition will not be checked. Okay, so I'll put it here. If here in this case I have to check three conditions, but one after the other, not at the same time. First I am checking if this value is greater than or equal to 175. If this is true, it should return A. If this is true, return A. Otherwise, if this is false, only then check another condition. How do we check next condition? To check a condition, only one guy can check the condition. Who is that guy? If. So inside if, I am going to give one more condition. If this value is greater than or equal to 101. If this is true, then it is B grade. Then it is B grade. So now we have checked the two conditions, whether this is 175 or above, or if this is 101 or above. If both the conditions are false, then obviously it is less than 100 only. There is no specific additional slab for less than 100. Less than 100 means it is a fail only. There is nothing else. Okay, so I'll just put fail in the double quotes. Okay, so the first condition, checking the first condition, it will return A if it's true. Checking the second condition, okay, if this is false, it will go for the next condition. This condition will return B if this is true, and if this is also false, then it will go to the fail. This is how nested if is being written. Only thing, you will have to close both the brackets. You will have to close both the brackets before you press the enter key. Because one bracket we have opened here, one bracket we have opened here, both the bracket has to be closed. Now, somebody was asking me, what is the difference between if and nested if? Let us try the same thing. Okay, where the school have instructed that the students should be passed only if the max mark is 50 and the total mark is 100. Only if both the conditions are true, then the student should be pass. Okay, let us try this with if nested if. Okay, the first condition, I'll check if this is greater than or equal to 100. Okay, if this is true, it should get pass. Okay, comma. Now I am going to give the next condition. What is the next condition? What is the next condition? If this cell is greater than or equal to 50. Okay, then also it is a pass. Right? If both of these rules are false, then it should be fail. Bracket close, enter. Yes, I am getting a pass here. How will this guy pass? This guy should not be pass, right? So what happened here? When we are using nested if, this condition is being checked. If this is true, this will give this value, it will give this value, and this will be coming out of this function. These criteria will not be checked at all. This function will not be checked at all. It will come out, it will break the function here. Okay, so that is why we cannot use nested if inside in this particular example. So when are we using and or? We are using and or when we need to check multiple conditions at the same time. When are we using nested if? We are using nested if when we need to check multiple conditions, but one after the other. So both the scenarios are different. If condition and if lookup. Lookup is also almost similar, but there are some differences also. We will be covering the lookup function afterwards. If we not return fail, then false would come. Yes. If you don't write anything in the false, this thing, if it is a false value, then false will return. So, which means I will go to this file. Let us assume I am not giving anything here. Value if false, I am not going to give anything. I am just closing the function here. So what will happen? If the value is false, then it will give false only. Fail will not come. Okay. Can we use else if else? No, there is nothing called if else. I don't know whether I am skipping some questions. Kunal, if you feel I am skipping some questions, please let me know. Because I am seeing only some questions here. Some questions are getting removed. I think it's getting.
Actually, once you answer, I think I'm publishing that question. Yeah, I get publishing that question which you already replied. So that's why
I have already discussed.
Yeah.
Fine.
So no only problem. 3 questions are there right now. Okay, sir, we need to select every column and write syntax.
And get you what? No. I'll read that question. I have the questions now.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So if any student have 100 marks, then what will be the result? In which example are you talking about? See, if we are putting greater than or equal to, then 100 mark will also be covered. Okay, to cover that 100 exact 100 mark, you must put greater than or equal to or less than or equal to symbol there, right? Sita is asking, sir, when I am putting multiple condition function, I am getting two types of answer. Like one student is pass in maths but fail in science, like this. So, is this right or I am doing correct? I cannot answer this until and unless I can see your screenshot, because I am not able to understand what do you mean in this question. Okay, this question is not clear. It's a bit confusing. All right, and we need to select every column and write syntax. No, I told you no. Only once you need to put the function. Then you need to drag it down so that all the rows will be populated. I think you meant rows only, right? Not the columns. You have told the columns. I think you are mentioning about the rows. Right.
Yeah, sir. Now we can continue with the class. There's no question.
We can continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stop this share. I'll open another file. Only I'll show. Once again, I'll share the screen. Okay. Okay, two more questions I can see. I'll just cover those questions also. What is the difference between if condition and if lookup? See, if both are totally different functions, and we will be covering lookup functions, then we will understand. Okay, hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
Fine. So now we are going to learn another set of functions. So now we have already learned, mathematical or arithmetic functions. Arithmetic functions we already learned. Sum function, count, all those things come in the arithmetic function. We also learned logical functions. Okay, there are many more logical functions, but those functions are not really used on a daily basis. That is why I am skipping. Okay, if I am to take all the functions which is available in Excel, then I would need at least 1 year to complete it. Not in this 5 days I will be able to complete it. All right, and we also have statistical functions. Average, min, max, everything is statistical function. Okay, now all these are covered. Now we are going to learn another set of function called text based functions. Okay, what are all the functions available to work with strings? What is it? What is a string? String is nothing but a text value. Okay, fine. The first and foremost function which we are going to learn in text function is, for example, I am putting a phrase here. Okay, hello world. In this cell, I am going to put a function called len. len. What does this len function give you? Okay, inside the len function, you must add one text value. Okay, inside the len function, you must add one text value. So B2 have a text value. That is why I am referring B2 and press enter. I've got 11 as the answer. But you count how many letters are there. Okay. So what does len function return? Len function will return the number of characters in this phrase. Len function will return the number of characters in this phrase. So count it manually. How many characters are there? HELLO, 5 characters. Then WORLD, another 5 characters. 5 plus 5 is 10 only. How did we get 11? Because space is also considered as a character. Space is also considered as a character, which is why in between there is a space, right? There is a space in between. So that is why I am getting 11 as the answer. Clear? If I put one more space after this, what will happen? I will get 12 as the answer. So each space is considered as one character. So len function to return the number of characters in a given string. Now, next one. I am putting hello here and world in another cell. In this cell, I want this to be combined. I want the answer as hello world. Okay. Now I did this manually, but is there any function to automate this? Yes, there is a function. The function name is concat. If you are using an older version of Excel, you will find a function called concatenate. Both are same. Okay. If you are using the older versions, you will find only this function. If you are using newer version, then you will find both concat function and concatenate function. You can use any function to do this. Both these functions give you the same result, exactly same result and exactly the same syntax. No differences at all. Only the name of the function is different. Clear? Now, inside the concatenate function, I can give one string after the other. So this is one string. I'm putting a comma. I'm giving another string. Now I'll close the bracket and press enter. I'm getting hello, hello world. I'm getting hello world. Now notice that there is no space in between. One way of adding the space is I can add the space in my source content. Here I'll put a space. I'll just put a space. Okay. Now I'll get the space here also. But if you have so many characters, so many lines, so many rows where you need to perform this action, you cannot manually go and put space for each and every function, each and every row. Okay. Imagine you have 100 rows where you wanted to perform this function. You cannot go to 100 rows and manually put a space in between. So you need to get the space in the function itself. Inside the function itself, you must get the space. How do we get the space? We'll put a before, comma, then I'll put a double quotes, then a space, again a double quotes, then comma. So these are 3 different strings for Excel. This is string number 1, string number 2, and string number 3. Okay. Now I'll press enter. I'm getting a space. Now if you have 100 rows to be where this function is to be performed, you can just drag. You don't have to write the function at all. So it will take the value from B4, it will put a space, then it will add the value from C4. Clear? So this is concat or concatenate function. Now next function. Next function phrase. I'll use a function called LOWER, lower. The function name is lower. I'll pass on this string to this function. I'll close the bracket and press enter. I'm getting all the characters in this small letters. All the characters has been converted to small letters. So lower function will convert all the text value to small letters. Then we have another function called upper. Okay, I am giving this string upper, press enter. What did I get? I'll get all the characters in capital letter. So upper function will convert the whole text into capital letters, uppercase. Okay. Next function is proper. There is a function called proper. I'll get this particular cell to convert it to proper. Now let us see what is proper. Proper is where you get the first letters of all the words in capital, in uppercase. The first letters of all the word of each words will be in the uppercase. So that is lower, upper, and proper. Next function. Again the same phrase. There is another function called left. I'm going to give this cell as the parameter. Okay, and press enter. So what does this left function give you? Left function will return the leftmost letter in a given string. Left function will return the leftmost character from a given string. Here the leftmost character is H. So that H is being returned. Now, in the same function, I am adding one more parameter. Okay, I am adding one more attribute. I am going to give an attribute of 2. Okay, I'm giving 2 as the attribute, second attribute. What did it get? What did it give you? Now this has returned the first 2 characters from the left. The first 2 characters from the left, that is left function, and 2 is to mention the number of characters to be extracted. If I am putting 6, sorry, I'll put 7. What happened? I'll get hello space W. Hello is 5 words, 5 letters. Then there is a space, 6th letter, and 7th letter is W. That is what I am getting when the second parameter is 7. All right. Now, similarly, we have another function called a write. Okay, write function say exactly same like left function only, but here this will extract the number of characters specified from the right. Okay, here I am just giving 4. Okay, B8 4. So what is there in B8? B8 we have a content called hello world. Now 4 will return the last, the 4 characters from the right. It will return the 4 characters counting from the right. So let us see what is happening. Yes, I am getting ORLD, which is the 4 letters counting from the right. Okay. Now I'll have another function called mid function. Let us learn mid function. Okay, just attend to this because mid function is bit confusing. Okay, but I'll make it as simple as possible. So mid function, again we will pass on a test and you will put a start number. I'll put 3 and I'll put number of characters. Maybe I'll put 4 here and close the bracket and press enter. Here I'll make it 5. Okay, otherwise you won't understand the difference. All right. So by saying this, what did you understand from this function? This function will return 5 characters from the third character. Okay, it will return 5 characters from the third character. So the start number is nothing but the point where you need to start the counting. Okay, the point where you need to start the counting. Here the start number, here the third character is L, right? Let us count 5 characters from L. 1, 2, 3, 4, space is also a character, 5. So LLO space W, that is what we have got. So it will give you 5 characters starting from third character. So mid function is to get a range of characters in between a string value. Right, so these are the functions which we have to learn in terms of text-based functions. I'll repeat the functions. len function to count the number of characters, and it will include the space also for the counting. Then we learned the concat or concatenate function to join 2 or more strings together in one cell. Then we had learned lower function, upper function, and proper function. All right, then we went on to learn left, left function, right function, and mid function. All right, so these are the text-based functions which we normally use. Again, there are other functions also, but those functions are not that important. That is why I am skipping those functions. Now, let us learn another range of functions. Okay, it is called date calculation. So wherever you wanted to do some calculation on the basis of date values, then you will have to use any of these functions. Okay, the first and foremost function in the date calculation functions is equal to today. So what will we get when we are giving today? What will the today function return? So note that there is no parameters, no attributes which is passed on to today function. Okay, this is one such function where you don't have to put any attributes. It will not take any attributes. So it will give you the system date. Okay, if my system is telling this is my today's date, this is my date, then that date will be populated. So today function will give you the current date from the system. Now the beauty part is that I have got 26/7/2024 here. Tomorrow, if I am opening the same file, I am going to the same cell, it will automatically would have updated to 27/7/2024. Okay, this will automatically update since you have put a function here. Since you have put a function, this will automatically update. Whenever you open the workbook, open the same workbook, this value will be updated. Okay. Next function. Next function here is okay. You have a complete date here, but you wanted to extract the date portion only from this date. Then you need to extract month portion only from this date. Then you need to extract the year portion from the date. You wanted to get this separately, not in a one single cell. Okay. Before I get to this function, let me also tell you something else, which is very important. Whenever you are putting a date in Excel, okay, whenever you are putting a date in Excel, in the home tab, this number group, you should find something called a date. Okay, if this is not giving you a date value, then Excel have not considered this as a date. For example, I am putting a date like this, 26th July 2024. Select this cell. What is given here? Is it a date? No, this is general. So Excel have not considered this as a date. For us, this is a date, but for Excel, this is not a proper date format. Okay, so how do you put the total date format? If you're manually entering a date, you can put it like this, 26/7/2024 and press enter. Now this will be considered as a date. Only if this cell is considered as a date, will you be able to use any date related function with this cell. Otherwise, that function will not work properly. Okay, you cannot use any date related functions in this particular cell because this is only a text value, not a date value. Clear? Some systems you might find that you are getting 7, 24, 26 and 2024. Let me see if it is okay. You might get it like this also. Month, day and year. You might get in that format also. That is your system setting. Okay. System setting you can change from the system control panel and all. Then it will be corrected. Clear on this part? And one more thing. You have entered a date in this particular cell. Okay. You are deleting this. And maybe after so many days, I am opening the same file and I am going to the same cell. I am just putting a number here. I'm just putting a number here and I'll press enter. As soon as I press enter, it will be changed to a date value. Why is that so? Because since we have entered a date value in this particular cell, Excel will Excel will always understand that this cell is booked for the date value. This cell is booked for the date value. That is what Excel assume. Okay, but there is a solution. You cannot, keep this cell, and you cannot keep this unused, right? If there is any requirement, I must use this cell also. So how do you solve this problem? I wanted 45,000 only here, not the date. Okay, well, how do you solve this? I'll select this cell. I'll go to the data. This date. There is a drop down. No, click on this drop down and click on number. If you don't want the decimal places, yesterday we had learned about decreases decimal also. So now this date is back to the value. So in Excel, date will have all the dates will have a corresponding number associated to it. Each and every date value will have a corresponding number assigned to it. So 45,000 was actually a corresponding number for a particular date. So since this cell, Excel assumed that this cell is for the date, it automatically converted to the date. Now, how do we stop that? We can select that cell. We can select that cell and go to here and click on the number, so that now this will be considered as the number only. Right. Now, coming back to the functions, we have learned the today function. Now we are going to extract the date part from the date, from this particular date. How do we extract? The function name is day. Function name is day. And I'll give this date. Bracket close, enter. You are getting 26. Where did I get 26 from? This is 26, right? This is 26. In the month column, I put another function month, and I will select this cell, bracket close, enter. The month number is also extract. Then we have the year function. Year function to extract the year part only. To extract the year part only from the complete date. So now we have split these three columns separately. Clear? That is where we have used day function, month function, and year function. Right. But as I told you, to get this function worked, if you want day function, month function, and year function to be worked, it should be given the attribute as exact date format. All right. Now imagine you are getting a report from a different source. Okay, from a database, from ERP software, something. You are getting a report, but in that report, all these date, month, and year is given separately. Okay, date, month, and year is being given separately. Now, I have to convert. This is a number value. This is another number value. This is another number value. Not a date values. This is not at all date values. But I wanted to convert this to normal date value like this. I wanted to convert these values to normal date. How do you convert? There is a function called date function. Inside the date function, the first parameter is year, second parameter is month, and the third parameter is day. Bracket close, press the enter key. You are getting 26/7/2024 as the answer. So date function will combine all these three values and return the date in the proper date format. Now I will select this cell. Is this a date? Yes, Excel have also considered this as a date. Okay. Now, another function here. Imagine we have a project start date and the project end date also. In the project start date, the project started is 1/15/2020 and the end date is today. End date is today. So now I wanted to calculate the duration between these two dates. Okay, so to get the duration, you must use a function called date diff. Date diff, and I'll open the bracket. But unfortunately, only this function doesn't take any parameters at all. This will be disabled always. Okay, normally all the function will show what are all the parameters, what are all the attributes to be provided here, right? But only for this function that is not shown. But this will take three attributes. Date diff will take three attributes. The first attribute is we must provide the date which is coming first. Out of these two dates, which date comes first? This date comes first, right? So I'll select that date, comma. Then after that, which date will come? This date will come. Okay, comma. And in double quotes, I am putting D here. Okay, and I'll close the bracket, press enter. Now I have got 1563 as the answer. 1563 is what? There were 1563 days between these two dates. That is what this 1563. But now I wanted the number of months. Okay, I want the number of months, not the days. In that case, just tweak this formula. Remove the D and put M there. Substitute M with the D. So we have 51 months. Now, to get the number of years, yes, you guessed it correctly. You must put Y as the last parameter. And press enter. Is that clear? So date diff function will return. Can return either the number of months or the number of years or the number of days between two different dates. Okay, now there is one more function. Okay, there is another function called EO month. EO month. Okay, and I'll put a start date. And I'm going to put 0 as the second parameter. Okay, and I'll press and close the bracket, Press enter. I'll convert this to date. Okay. What did I get? I got the last date of this month. So EO month is nothing but end of the month, which is the last date for this particular month, for July month. What is the last date? Okay, but in this formula, I am going to change the 0 to 2. What happened? Now this is July. So second attribute 2 means July, August, yeah, July and August. Sorry, it is giving July, August, September ka last date, because I gave 2 as the answer. So the current month is 0, 1 means next month, 2 means 2 months, I mean second month after this. So like that it will go. So that is EO month function. All right. So now we have learned about date functions and text-based functions also. Okay, now you can post if there is any doubts. Okay, you can post if there is any doubts, and I'll look into the questions in 2 minutes. Okay, I'll come back in 2 minutes and check your questions.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. All right. Let me read out the questions one by one. Can you explain another example of EO month? EO month. EO month is to get the last date of the month. Okay, so if I am putting this parameter is very important. Okay, if I am putting 4, then this is July. So August, September, October, November. Okay, 4th month. The last date of the 4th month, starting from July, will be returned. Okay, without entering tomorrow date, can I tag it yesterday date? I did not understand that question. You can be more specific on the questions. I did not understand that. Okay, just make a revision of the date calculation. I'll do that. Okay, I'll revise all the functions which is related to date. What if we write mid B8 only? I believe it will give you an error because the other two parameters are important for you. Other two parameters are mandatory parameters. So it might give you an error. But these things you can also try. Na? You can also try. You don't have to ask me. You can just try. You can just type a word and try it out on yourself so that you will also not forget it. Okay. Repeat this date calculation. I'll repeat. If you please write a line about the function. Okay, fine. I will do that. I will do that. But you can put the condition true section. Okay, you are asking about the if or no, if and no. You try it. If you are getting it well and good, I'm not sure whether you will get it because there will be some problems in that also. Okay. Otherwise, they will not find this. They will not develop this and function, right? If everything is happening here. Right. So you can try it out if you are getting it well and good. How to auto filter column raw, sir, and bold text when we are writing anything. Auto. Okay, you might be auto fit column rows and bold the text. Auto fit column. Okay, I think you are asking if we can drag this. I mean the column which is getting automatically adjusted as you are writing it. As you are writing, it is not possible. After you write the content, then you can auto fit it. That is possible. Okay, and if you wanted this to be in bold before entering any contents in a cell, you can select the cell and click on bold key so that whatever you are going to write there will be in the bold only. EO month -2, try it. Okay, many of the questions you are asking here is something which you yourself can try. Okay, as I told you yesterday also, I don't wanted to spoon feed you because spoon feeding will kill your creativity and your learning ability. Okay, I don't want to do that. I will not do that. So whichever questions, just think of yourself, try it out, and then you can come back to me. Right. So I hope there is no more questions.
No, sir, no question. We can continue.
Yeah. Just a second. All right. Okay, somebody was asking me to, okay, I'll share my screen once again. Sharing is gone. Somebody was asking me to repeat the date functions. I mean, just to revise the date functions. I'll do that now. Okay, so in date functions, the first function which we had learned was today function. So today function doesn't take any attributes, okay, and will return the current date from the system. Okay. Next function which we had learned was date function. So date function, inside the date function, you must give a date value. Okay, you must give a date value. So date function will extract and return the date part from the given date. Okay. Next one, we talked about the month function. Month function will also take a date as the attribute. We'll extract the month part. We'll extract the month number or the month part from the given date. Then we have the year function. Again, in the year function, the date will be given. Okay. This will extract the year part from the given date. Clear? So these were the three functions then we learned. Then we learned about the date function. Date function, you need to give what are all the parameters in the date function is equal to date. It will take three parameters. Okay. So date function will take year, month, day. So we'll combine the year, month and day and return a valid date. Okay. This will return a valid date. Then which function did we see? We saw about the date diff function. Okay, we saw about the date diff function. Date diff function. Date diff function, the parameters will not be shown in Excel, but actually the parameters is earlier date, comma, later date, comma, in double quotes you can give either D or you can give double quotes M, or you can give Y in the double quotes. Date diff will number of days, month or years between earlier date and the later date. This here I can specify this as start date and end date. Okay, that is more easier to understand. Start date and end date. Okay, date diff. Now next one, what did we learn? We learned the EO month. Okay, EO month will take the date as one parameter and the number of months. Okay, will return the last date of the month specified. So these are the functions which we had learned till now in terms of date related functions. Okay, now we are going to learn another set of functions. Again, let us take one more set of functions. I'll close the screen share now and I'll open another file. I can see one question here. I explain how to get alternative today date, last date without typing. It was not clear, Baba. Please give some examples or something like that. Only then I'll be able to understand and explain. Thank you, Monica. Is this okay? Okay, is the screen visible now? Kunal, can you confirm if the screen is visible now? Okay, I hope it's visible. I'm continuing with the class. Okay, we are going to learn another range of functions which is called financial functions. Okay, so where we are going to learn about how to calculate the interest rate, how to calculate the net period of a loan, how to calculate the installment for a loan. Okay, all these things, for all these things we have the financial functions. So before I get into the financial functions, you must understand some terminologies. Okay, everyone knows about this terminology, but still I am just reminding, I'm just giving you one more explanation on this terminologies. Now, there is a terminology called payment. Okay, when it comes to this financial functions, we must understand this terminology called payment. What is this payment? Payment is nothing but the installment which we pay back to the loan. Okay, the installment which we pay back to the loan. In this financial functions, we will call this as PMT. Okay, we will call this as PMT. Second one is rate. Rate, everybody know what is the interest rate for this particular loan. Next one is net period. What is the total period of the loan within which we have to complete the loan? So net period is referred as NPER in financial functions. Then we have principal value, which will be referred as PV. What is the principal value? Principal value is nothing but the loan value. Okay, the loan value, the exact loan value is principal value, and principal value is denoted by PV. Next one is future value. Future value, what is future value? Future value is the value when you complete the whole payments, okay, within that specified period. What is your future value? Future value should be 0 to be called as loan is closed. So when will we tell loan is closed? Loan is closed only when the future value is 0. Okay, that is future value. Future value will be denoted as FV. Now, imagine this scenario. Look on to only this particular row. Do not look on to the other rows. In this row, there is a scenario. Scenario is that I know what is the principal value, I know what is the net period, and I know what is the rate, and I know what is the future value also. Now, I am asked to calculate the installment amount to be paid back. Clear? Before going to that function, you must also understand the relation between these two cells. Okay, rate and NPE are directly related with each other, which means if NPER is 12, this can be 12 years, this can be 12 months, this can be 12 quarters, whatever. So imagine, assuming this is 12 years, then this rate is 6% per year. If this is 12 months, then this 6% is, if this is 12 months, then 6% is per month rate. 6% is per month rate. If this is a quarter, if this 12 is number of quarters, then this is 6% per quarter. Hope you understood the concept. So imagining this is years only. Okay, let us assume this as years only and the rate is 6% per year only. Now, if you wanted to convert this to the months and you wanted the installment per month, if you wanted the installment per month, then you must change this value. You must also change this value and you must change this value. I mean, automatically this value also will be changed because this is where we are going to put the formula. Right? So, how many months are 12 years? How many months? It's 144 months. 12 years is 144 months, right? As I told you earlier, if this is 144 is months, then rate should also be in month. Okay. So 6% is per year rate now. I must change this to monthly rate. So for 1 year, if it is 6%, then what is the monthly rate? Monthly rate is 0.5%. Sorry, it's 0.5%. I'll decrease. I mean, I'll increase the decimal points. Okay, 0.5% is the per month rate. So if we are converting this to the number of months, then rate also should be converted to number of months. Otherwise, it will not give you correct result. Okay. If we wanted to convert this quarters, sorry, let us assume if we wanted to convert this to half year. Okay. So 12 years means it is 24 half years, right? 12 years means it's 24 half years. So this is, if this is half year, then this should also be in half year. Correct? So one whole year, the interest rate is 6%. Then half year, it will be 3%. I hope it's clear for you. Okay. So let me get back to 144 and 0.5%. Now I am going to use a formula here to find out the installment amount. Okay, the installment amount to be paid back to the bank. To find out the installment amount, the function to be used is PMT. That is why I have given PMT here. Okay, PMT is the function name. Inside the PMT function, I am taking this to the formula bar. Inside the PMT function, the first attribute is rate. Select the rate cell. Second attribute is NPER, net period. Select the NPER. Next attribute is PV, principal value. Select this. And last attribute is FV. Select this FV also. And close the bracket. Press enter. I have got 1463.78 is the amount which we need to pay back to the bank per installment. Now, what is this 1463? Is it the installment per month or is it installment per year? Since this is per month and this is also per month, then installment is also per month only. Installment is also per month only. Okay, so if I'm converting this back to the years, 12 years and 6% and 6%. Oops. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, 12 years and 6%. Then the amount which I am getting here is the amount which we need to pay back to the bank per year. The installment per year. So what I'm trying to tell is this NPER, this rate and this payment have connections with each other, have relations with each other. Okay, this is directly related to each other. But function you have understood. What is the function? PMT is the function. PMT function is to find the PMT function is to find the installment amount. Clear now? Now, next one. Next one. In this scenario, next scenario, I know what is the installment amount and I know what is the net period. I know what is the principal value and I know what is the future value. I am asked to find the rate of interest. Okay, so to find the rate of interest is equal to rate. Okay, the function name is rate only. Then the first parameter here is NPER. Select the NPER, comma. Next parameter is PMT, payment. I will select the payment, comma. Then the principal value and last the future value. Close, enter. I have got the value as 6%. So rate is 6%. Third scenario. Third scenario, I am asked to find out the net period. All the other details are there. So again, the function name is, you might have guessed it correctly, it is NPER only. Inside the NPER function, the first parameter is rate. Second parameter is PMT, payment. Third parameter is principal value. And last parameter is future value. Bracket close, enter. I am getting the NPER 12. Next scenario, I have to find the principal value. All the other details are there. So the function is PV only. Inside the PV function, we have the rate, comma NPER, comma the payment and comma the future value. Bracket close, enter. I am getting 1,50,000. Last scenario here, we are asked to find out the future value is equal to FV is the function. So I'll give the rate. These things you don't have to by heart it. Okay, you don't have to by heart it. It is anyways, it is showing. Okay, so don't by heart it. Just make a note of it. That's all. Then NPER, comma payment, comma principal value. Bracket close, enter. I'm getting 0. Clear? So these are the major financial functions. PMT function, the rate function will return rate of interest. NPER function will return the next period of the loan. PV function will return the principal value. FP will return the future value. This is crystal clear to you. Now, in this case, another scenario, in this case, I have the loan amount, I have the interest rate, net period, everything I have. So, when you pay back an installment, for example, you are paying back 17,892 rupees back to the bank. Will all this amount go to the principal value? Or will all this amount will go to the interest value? No, right? There is a there is a calculation. Some portion will go to the principal portion. Some portion will go to the interest portion. Clear? The whole amount will not go to the principal portion, or the whole amount will not go to the interest portion. Now, I wanted to find out when I'm paying back the first installment. Okay, here I'm putting the 1 because I wanted to know what is the principal portion when I am paying back the first installment. So for that, to understand the principal portion of an installment, there is a function called PPMT. PPMT. Okay, this is the standard, segregation. Okay, the principal portion and interest portion. This is the standard one. Some banks might have different calculation also. Some banks might have different calculation also. Okay, so the PPMT function will take the rates, then the period. This is the period. Then the NPER, net period. Then the principal value here. Okay, there is no need to give future value and type. All those attributes are optional attributes. I'll close the bracket here and I'll press enter. I'm getting 8,892 rupees. So out of the 17,892, 8,892 rupees is going to the principal portion when you pay the first installment. Second installment, it will be different. If I'm putting 2 here, I'm getting the principal portion for the second installment. So each installment, this portions will differ. Each installment, this portions will differ. So PPMT function is to understand the principal portion. Now, IPMT function is there. IPMT function is to find the interest portion of that installment. And IPMT function will take the rate, period, then the net period, principal value. So I am getting 8,467 rupees. This is the interest portion. So first installment This is my principal portion and 9,000 is my interest portion. Second installment, the portions have been changed. Third installment, the portions have again changed. So up to 12 installments, I can get it, and I can create a loan table like this. I can create a loan table like this using the same IPMT and PPMT functions. All the total values, see the total is 17,891 only. Okay, 17,891 only is the total installment. For first installment, this is the principal and interest portion. Like that, I have created 12 rows. For all the 12 installments, how is the segregation? So I can create a table like this using these functions. Right? That is for financial functions. If you have any doubts, you can ask, you can check with me. Otherwise, we can break now, and we will come back at 3:30. Let me see. Is there any function for time? Yes, there are different functions for time. If time permits, I'll cover time functions also. Is it called principal value or present value? It is called principal portion, right? It is not present value, because 1,50,000 is the loan which you have taken. We have borrowed 1,50,000 from bank, so that is the principal, no? I hope so. I'm not really, expert in that particular subject, but I hope that is correct. So when we sum IPMT and PPMT, what we get the total installment. When we publish, when we sum IPMT and PPMT function, we will get the total installment to be paid back to the bank. Clear?
I think, sir, we can wind up the session for today. And again, we will meet at 3:30, 3:35.
Yeah, 3:35 we'll assemble back.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you, student, for second session. Again, we will meet you at 3:35. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Bye-bye.